Sigma by Weaver of Fables. For hundreds of years, the Cagliari people observed a strange object in the orbit of their sun. From their little blue planet, they could not even guess what it was. They assumed that its mass was too great to be an asteroid, and its size too small to be a planet. It was one of the mysteries of the universe, revolving malevolently in the outer fringes of their six-body system. It was an object of worship. Their prophets and wise people filled their people's eager minds with messages of peace and discovery of ancient great ones, and instilled in them a mission of investigation. So the Cagliari went to work, all united in purpose. Their scientists considered various methods of making contact with the black box, although it was neither black nor box-shaped. They blasted it with radio waves and listened carefully, but no signal returned. They directed lasers at it, but the laser never reflected back. They observed its motion and its effect on the surrounding asteroid field, but it never seemed to interact with anything gravitationally. It was a complete mystery. Another 200 years passed, and the Cagliari people had managed to leave their planet and even began colonizing their system. However, the black box remained outside of their reach. They sent probes to take pictures of it, but none of them managed to reach the object of wonder. The Cagliari prophets and wise people changed their stance on the black box and began preaching that it must never be disturbed. That should their people ever discover its origins or make contact with it, a terrible fate will befall them. But the Cagliari, united in purpose, could not shake off the yoke of the initial prophecy, of that mission that was engraved in their very own DNA. They had to make contact. By their reckoning, in the year 1474, the first manned mission to Object ADA, how they called the black box, reached its destination. What they found was a flat, spindle-shaped object, covered in gleaming silver metal. Their trip took much longer than expected, because they could not range the object with lasers, nor could they determine its position accurately, because it did not seem to curve space-time, despite being so massive in physical dimensions. It was 14 kilometers in length, and 7 kilometers at its widest point. However, the shadow the object cast on the stars beyond it seemed to suggest that it was much larger than it actually was. It was a mystery, even now. The silver surface rippled like a liquid, and strange symbols and glossolalia appeared on its surface, which the Cagliari could not decipher. The first manned expedition was a success, and they remained in the same orbit as Object ADA, sending back data to their homeworld, Cagliari. Over the next 60 years, the Cagliari people built a station near Object ADA, which would eventually tug the object into a stable orbit around Cagliari, as an artificial moon. But the language that the object used to seemingly communicate with them could not be deciphered. The ideas were too different. Some proclaimed that it was holy scripture, others that it was a warning and a litany of fury. Factions appeared, splintering the united will of the Cagliari people. Some attempted to sabotage the construction of the space station, others wanted to destroy the object. One particular incident saw 7 nuclear weapons detonate against Object ADA in an attempt to annihilate it. It was performed by an extreme splinter of the religious faction that claimed Object ADA would bring doom to the Cagliari people. However, the nuclear weapons had no effect on the black box. Total war erupted among the factions, and within 10 years, a people that had not known war at all suddenly became bloodthirsty murderers. There were no longer any innocents among them. They had all become twisted and distorted. A brilliant scientist among the Cagliari people discovered a method to communicate with Object ADA, and managed to withdraw data and technology that their people could not even dream of. Apparently, there existed something called the light element, which was like the antimatter of dark energy. Combined, they would annihilate each other and create virtually limitless energy. The militant factions used the recovered data to create weapons and gain complete dominion over the Cagliari people, while the free-spirited, religiously devoted scientists tried to comprehend the origin of the black box. The Cagliari society changed overnight. Their technology leaped ahead by hundreds, if not thousands of years. Each time they reached within the black box, they took out something that changed them physically and mentally. They became more aggressive and more warlike, utilizing weapons like quantum bombs and graviton beams. They stopped fearing death because they discovered ways of not only augmenting their bodies and shifting them towards becoming more like machines, but also reversing the process of aging. They had managed to synthesize the soul itself and digitize it for storage in higher dimensional constructs. It was profane, blasphemous knowledge. Soon, they made contact with an unknown civilization calling themselves the Chosen of Zeta. The Chosen had observed the Cagliari people and came to investigate their sudden technological advancement. Technology proliferation was forbidden, after all. The Cagliari people openly showed them the black box, which was now in orbit of Cagliar, but the Chosen of Zeta could not figure out its origins. They only gave the Cagliari people a warning: do not open that box. But the only thing the Cagliari got from that was, wait, we can open it? After a dozen years of research, they finally obtained the activation sequence of the black box. They learned that the black box was designed after one of the angels that seeded the entire universe with life. According to the black box, angels were manifestations, or emanations, of a higher being. The symbols that appeared on the surface of the object was indeed a litany. Here lies Gramiel, the wrath of God. To see him is to become blind. To hear him is to become deaf. To touch him is to become salt. Here lies Gramiel, the wrath of God. May he become blind. May he become deaf. May he sleep forever. They entered the activation sequence and waited to finally lay eyes on the greatest mystery of the universe, the knowledge that was hidden and forbidden. The black box, which was neither black nor box-shaped, extended its silver light element collectors, 6 of them like seraphim wings, and scattered brilliant light into the Cagliar system, glittering particles that interfered with EM radiation and caused chaos and panic on the planet. The moment its reactors turned on, its gravitation print on space-time curved exponentially, almost like a black hole. Cities sunk beneath the waves, and earthquakes tore the planet apart. Noosphere domain transferred to Sigma. Planet B78-ER9447, habitability, unhospitable. Life signs detected in quadrant, presume hostile. Current system unknown, generate star map. Finally, the black box turned on its engines, and its drive plume shrouded the planet, glassing the entire half that faced in its direction. The Cagliari people were erased from existence within hours of opening the black box. Such was their fate. The human race had been extinct for 10,000 years. Hardly anyone in the universe still remembered the belligerent race that somehow managed to decipher the technology of the ancient precursors that seeded the galaxies with life. Their light element technology was too destructive to the essence of space-time and the natural causality of existence. Therefore, the major civilizations united to annihilate them. What remained of the human race was the ship Avalon, which carried 500,000 frozen human embryos to another galaxy, where humanity may begin anew. But its AI, Sigma, was the most belligerent, warlike intelligence in the galaxy. It commenced a journey of vengeance and became lost until now. It was the sole, living remnant of human civilization and the tip of its slaying spear. The ancients called it Gramiel, the wrath of God, and the name of the god that humanity created that day, and which Gramiel served, was Retribution. Confirm destruction of all hostiles. Proceed with mission. Restoration of humanity. All systems normal.